Hi guys, welcome to the second part of the video checkmating with the knight and bishop. In a previous example, we talk about some key elements and I show you very famous position which is a W maneuvering and how to checkmating from the W maneuver till end. So as you saw, we was able to checkmating in 18 moves from the W maneuvering till end of the game when the black opponent when the black pieces getting checkmate. So right now I want to discuss about this position which is can be happening from the beginning of the knight and bishop against the king. So this is the one of the tough scenario can be happening. So your opponent's king is in the middle and your pieces is in a corner. So right now, as you know, first we have to bring the king and the minor pieces together and try to limit our opponent's king and try to push out it to the corner. Corner would be 8th rank or rook files and first rank, doesn't matter. First of all, you have to push out this king to the corner. Second, as much as possible, you have to push out it to the corner which is the same as your bishop color. So here we have a light square bishop. Most probably we have to checkmate this king on the light squares like a8 and h1. If you had dark square bishop, probably this king would be checkmate on h8 and a1. Just try to remember the key elements, how to push out the king to the corner. Because if you see even some experienced players, even some masters, they say probably we know how to checkmate, but in action they are not able. Because most of the time we're reaching this type of the position in time trouble or even in a blitz tournament. So this is crucial to understanding about some code and some important idea. So first of all, we have to push out this king to the corner. Second, we have to creating the W maneuvering, and then by pushing the opponent's king to the corner which is the same as our bishop color, then we are able to checkmate. But of course you have to repeat it a lot. This is not possible to understanding the role. You have to play with your friend, you have to play with the engines, you have to train a lot to be master on this ending. Okay, let's go. Probably here we will starting with king d2, bringing the king, try to push out the king to the corner. Okay, black playing king e5, we will bring the king on e3, king e6, king d4, king d6. There is a multiple idea for white to making progress. Just I want to show you some nice idea can helping you easily to making progress. So when you reach this type of the position, we call it opposition, you have to put your bishop in between two kings or in front of your king or your opponent's king. By this plan, you are able to push out one rank your opponent's king to the corner. So king e7, king e5, you bring the king, king d7. Right now, time to bringing the knight to the game. There is a two move, king e7 or king c7, doesn't matter. First, let's see king e7. So probably again we will putting the bishop behind, between the two kings. So opponent's king can go to the f8, 8th rank, and then you will bring your king to f6. Probably here between king d8 or king f8, better for defender to go into the f8. Why? Because the h8 square is the opposite color of our bishop. So probably king f8 would be more reasonable for defender here. Okay, we bring the king on f6, king e8. Right now, it is important to creating the W maneuver. If you remember in a previous part, we spoke about some key squares which knight control them. So knight coming from usually f7 to e5, d7, c5, and b7. This is looks like W. So we have to put our knight in one of the W squares, especially middle one would be the best. F7 or D7. Probably D7 would be the best. By putting the knight on D7, we can reaching the W maneuver. So knight coming to C5. Black has to coming to D8 because after king F8, that would be easier for us to putting the knight on D7. Probably king D8 here. Black wanted to escape. Okay, again we will reaching the famous position by putting the knight on D7. It seems we came from E5 to D7, right? So king C7. Try to think here what we have to do. Yes, we have to continue with king E7. Probably after king C6, we are able to limit this king and controlling the B5 squares. Because as you know, black wanted to escape. So it is very important to avoid it by bishop C4. Okay. King C7, king bishop D5, king C8, king D6, king D8. Again, we reach the W maneuver position. Okay, right now, again, as we spoke, we have to controlling all these squares and then push out the king to the corner for checkmating. So we will play bishop F7, king C8, and then continue our maneuvering with knight, king D8, continue check to controlling D8 squares, king C8, king C6, king B8, king B6. Okay, check. When we reach this position, we have to bring the knight to the rook file to making check, and then finally checkmating with the bishop. So knight C5, king A8. Again, you have to be careful here. Don't rush. This is a very important role in all type of the endings. So here we need to doing one waiting move, just bishop D7 or bishop H3 anywhere, especially in this diagonal, except the C8. So king B8, then we make a check and then checkmate. This is the checkmating with the knight and bishop. We checkmated on 24 moves. Okay, let's back. In this moment, maybe black going to C7, but this also not changing a lot. You have to using from your knight D4, bring it to the center. Probably after king D7, you can do a lot of things like knight B5 to stopping king C7. And if your opponents play king B6, again you will using your king. This king has to go into the corner, and then king C5. Again, we reach the W maneuvering position by putting the knight in one of the key squares. Okay, probably black king has to go into the corner, which is the opposite color of your bishop. Probably it would be A1 by king A4, and then we will putting the knight on the one of the key squares. So again, we reach the W maneuvering position. So when you reach this position, you have to push out your opponent's king to the corner, which is the same as your bishop color. Probably here we will playing bishop B3, king A6, and then continue W maneuvering, which is can be happening from here like that. So knight D6. What's the idea of playing knight D6? To put the knight on B7, right? Okay, probably if black king coming to A5, we will make a check. King here, this check. The idea was to controlling A5, and then king C6. We will reaching the same position, and then when we reaching this moment, which is your opponent's king have just 2 square, you need to just bring the knight. And again, we cannot play knight C8. Just one waiting move, and then we can make a check in a corner as much as possible, and then checkmate with a bishop, right? In this moment also, if your opponent's king here going to the A7, we can continue with bishop here, and then king on B6. After king A8, putting the bishop on e6 to controlling c8 square, and then moving the knight like that. Check, check, and checkmate. Sorry, straight here, checkmate. Yeah. And this is the checkmating with the knight and bishop. So here we was able to checkmating on 19 moves. This is very important ending that you have to repeat it again, repeat till to become master. Just you have to play, and you have to remind you the idea, reminding the code. For example, first of all, we have to be careful to checkmate this king before the 50 moves, because if crossed from the 50 moves, then opponents can claim for draw according to the rules. So we have to checkmate this king below the 50 moves, and we have to first limit this king and push out this king by king and bishop to the corner. Especially remember this idea of putting the bishop between two kings, and then after the pushing this king to the corner, we have to creating the W maneuvering position. And remember about the key squares, which is the same color as your bishop. The key squares will be controlling with knight by W maneuvering, and then you are able to push your opponent's king to the corner, which is the same as your bishop color. Then you can checkmate this king. Hope you enjoy, hope you learn. Please try to play a lot of games, try to play with yourself also to understand deeply what's going on, and later you will be master. I'm pretty sure later you are able to checkmate this type of the position just with 1 minute. Okay, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and also share it with your friends. See you.